Good day, everyone. This is Chapter 7 Innovation and Strategies of Strategic Management. A firm's philosophy towards innovation greatly impacts the business level or competitive strategies that it pursues. Having an entrepreneurial orientation stimulates a firm toward innovation, improving its products and services, and launching new product lines. So, why innovation is important in strategic management? A firm must be improving its product and services or developing new ones to stay competitive. Business level strategy will not be able to sustain any competitive advantage by sitting still. As firms implement corporate and international strategies discussed in the next two chapters, cooperative and competition measures help companies obtain resources and capabilities needed to innovate and enter new markets. Before we proceed to next discussion, let us put ourselves in the presence of our Lord. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. O God, enlighten my mind with truth, inflame my heart with love, inspire my will with courage, enrich my life with service. Pardon what I have been, sanctify what I am, order what I shall be, and thine shall be the glory, and mine the eternal salvation through Jesus Christ my Lord. Amen. At the end of this lesson, the student should be able to explain why innovation is important in strategic management and why companies should innovate. Analyze the four stages of the product life cycle. Create your own product that would work as a disruptive innovation. How widespread would be the appeal of this product? Thinking and behaving entrepreneurially can help a person's career as well. Some enterprising individuals successfully navigate through the environments of their respective organization to maximize their own career prospects by identifying and seizing new opportunities. Like the well-known entrepreneurs like Thomas Edison, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, those people has a common elements of conceptions of entrepreneurs are that they do something new and that some individuals can make something out of opportunities that others cannot. Entrepreneurial orientation or EO is measured at both the organizational and the individual levels. The characteristics of an entrepreneurial company noted in Table 7.1 also apply to individuals. Those individuals who are less risk averse, innovative thinkers, and competitive tend to have a higher EO and greater success at starting a business. Online EO assessment tools exist for those wishing to determine their EO. It is important to note that EO is not only related to high-tech startups. Starting a lawn care business or a beauty shop are very valid and necessary entrepreneurial ventures and will have a better chance of success if an entrepreneur possesses a higher EO. Organization's level of EO can be understood by examining how it stacks up relative to three dimensions. The first one is innovativeness. Innovativeness is the tendency to pursue creativity and experimentation. Some innovations build on existing skills to create incremental improvements, while more radical innovations require brand new skills and may make existing skills obsolete. Either way, innovativeness is aimed at developing new products, services, and processes. Those organizations that are successful in their innovation efforts tend to enjoy stronger performance than those that do not. The next one is proactiveness. Proactiveness is the tendency to anticipate and act on future needs rather than reacting to events after they unfold. A proactive organization is one that adopts an opportunity-seeking perspective. Such organizations act in advance of shifting market demand and are often either the first to enter new markets or fast followers that improve on the initial efforts of first movers. And the last is risk-taking. Risk-taking refers to the tendency to engage in bold rather than cautious actions. Starbucks, Starbucks, for example, made a risky move when it introduced a new instant coffee called Via Ready Brew. Instant coffee has long been viewed by many coffee drinkers as a bland drink, but Starbucks decided that the opportunity to distribute its product in a different format was worth the risk of associating its brand name with instant coffee. Building an entrepreneurial orientation. Individuals should consider whether their attitudes and behaviors are consistent with the three dimensions of EO. Is an employee making decisions that focus on competitors? Does the employee provide executives with new ideas for products and processes that might create value for the organization? Is the employee making proactive as opposed to reactive decisions? Each of these questions will aid employees in understanding how they can help to support EO within their organizations.
Good day, everyone. My name is Danivica Dusale. For the next topic, why innovate? Innovate to capture markets. Innovation can be a key strategy to stay ahead of the competition, and that is the reason why innovation is important. Besides, firms who are dissatisfied with their so-called success will find themselves outsmarted and left behind with other competitors, winning other their customers. An innovation strategy coupled with an entrepreneurial orientation will help keep customers buying. Innovation is usually the strategy of new startup IT companies. A new software program is developed or a new way to do interactive video games can meet a need or provide a service that consumers want. It is the innovation strategy that propels the organization forward. This is not to discount the need for a business level or competitive strategies such as focus differentiation, as the firm still needs to determine their business level strategy and optimize it. Often, a differentiation strategy, broad or focus, can be used for a new, innovative product or service and price high because the competitors are few or none. Joseph Addison, an 18th century poet, is often credited with coining the phrase, "He who hesitates is lost." It is easy to executives to become paralyzed by the dizzying array of competitive and cooperative moves available to them. Given the fast-paced nature of most industries today, hesitation can lead to disaster. Competition in many settings has transformed into hyper-competition, which involves very rapid and unpredictable move and counter moves that can undermine competitive advantages. The importance of continuous learning also contributes to the value of adopting a get-moving mentality. Success in business often depends on executives learning from a series of competitive and cooperative moves, not on selecting ideal moves. In some circumstances, advantages can be created by taking decisive action, even if the decision is based on incomplete information. To win without fighting is the best by Sun Tzu means a situation where one side wins by putting the other side at such a massive disadvantage that the issue of fighting it out never comes up. Blue Ocean Strategy. A blue ocean strategy involves creating a new and top market rather than competing with rivals with an existing market. Instead of trying to outmaneuver its competition, a firm using a blue ocean strategy tries to make the competition irrelevant. Nintendo openly acknowledges following a blue ocean strategy in its efforts to invent new markets. So this is one of the company that uses the blue ocean strategy. Another companies or other example of companies creating new markets include FedEx invention of the fast shipping business and eBay's invention of online auctions. Firms that create blue oceans experience a temporary competitive advantage. How long temporary competitive advantage lasts? In a blue ocean strategy depends on the particular combination of internal and external factors that create opportunity in the first place. Needless to say, the more successful a company is with a blue ocean strategy, the more attention they will receive from potential competitors who want to get into a position to benefit from those same advantages. So this table shows of the examples of firms following a blue ocean strategy. Next is 7.4 types of innovation. Being a first mover, advantages and disadvantages. When confronted by a poisonous snake, should you strike first or wait for the serpent to make a move? Each option has advantages and disadvantages. In business, being a first mover might allow a firm to rattle its rivals, but a first move might also attract the venom of skeptical customers. Below are the examples of successful and not successful first movers. So table point 3 shows the first mover advantages, the first move successes, and the first move failures. The early birds gets the worm. Applied to the business world, the glitch suggests that certain benefits are available to a first mover into a market that will not be available to later entrants. A first mover advantage exists when making the initial move into a market allows a firm to establish a dominant position that other firms struggle to overcome. On the other hand, a first mover cannot be sure that customers will embrace its offering, making a first move inherently risky. The first mover also bears the cost of developing the product and educating customers. Others may learn from the first mover's successes and failures, allowing them to cheaply copy or improve the product. In many industries, knowledge diffusion and public information requires make such imitation increasingly easy. One caution is that first movers must be willing to commit sufficient resources to follow through on their pioneering efforts. First moves that build on strategic resources, such as patented technology, are difficult for rivals to imitate and thus are likely to succeed. Four types of innovation. First, incremental innovation. Second, disruptive innovation. Third, architectural innovation. Fourth, radical innovation. The type of innovation is dependent on two factors. There are market and technology. So market, does the innovation create a new market or address the existing market? And technology, does the innovation use a technology or an existing technology? So first type of innovation is the incremental innovation. Incremental innovation can be described as making improvements on the existing product or service. The improvements are based on using existing technology and are directed at the existing market. In the automobile industry, the improvements made each year to the newest model of car are incremental innovations. No new markets are formed, and existing technology is used to make the car better. Some other examples of incremental innovation are presented in Table 4. Incremental innovation occurs when the innovation uses existing technology to improve a product or service that addresses the existing market. Is disrupted innovation. Some firms have the opportunity to shake up their industry by introducing a disruptive innovation, an innovation that conflicts with and threatens to replace traditional approaches to competing within an industry. So, disruptive innovation occurs when a new product or service engages existing market with a new technology. So, the table shows the disruptive innovation examples. Next is architectural innovation. Architectural innovation occurs when new products or services use existing technology to create new markets and or new consumers that not purchased that item before. Firms can innovate by using and adopting existing technology to create new product or services that addresses new markets and consumers. This type of innovation is called architectural innovation since the architecture of product is changed to create a new product to reach new market. So the table 7.6 shows the architectural innovation examples. Next is radical innovation. Radical innovation disappears when new products or services are developed using a new technology that open up new markets. The airplane is a good example of a radical innovation. It used an entirely new aeronautical technology to open up a whole new market for people. Footholds are useful for rock climbers looking for sure footing to ascend a difficult mountain, as well as firms hoping to gain position in the new markets. In business, a foothold is a small position that a firm intentionally establishes within a market in which it does not yet compete. Within the context of business, a foothold is a small position that a firm intentionally establishes within a market with it does not yet compete. Conclusion. In conclusion, innovation enables companies and businesses to draw in new clients. For businesses to stay ahead of the competition, they must constantly innovate. The Blue Ocean strategy is an excellent one to employ since it allows businesses to expand into untapped areas rather than competing with competitors in established ones. A company employing a blue ocean strategy strives to render its competitors irrelevant rather than outmaneuver them. Considerably, being a first mover has both benefits and drawbacks. In business, it may help a company to rattle its rivals, but being the first may also draw the venom of dubious clients. There are four sorts of innovation that businesses uses to strengthen their position in the making that are both dependent to market and technology. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Fascina Marie Abelior Lagunera, a third reporter of the Chapter 7, Topic 7.5, Implementing Innovation. Product life cycle and crossing the JSM. So when innovation creates a new product, it typically goes through whether it's a high-tech product like a new video game system or more mundane product like a laundry detergent. The four stages are introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So the first one is introduction. So when the product is launched with the hopes that it catches on, sales became slow. So the second one is growth. The product catches on and the sales increase with time. Competitors jump in, but the rivalry among the competitors is not really strong yet, and there are other plenty of sales for all. The third is majority. Sales begin to level out, the growth slows, and competition increases. Shakeout occurs with some competitors leaving the market or being acquired by others. Lastly is the decline. So sales start declining. More consolidation occurs with firms looking for exit strategies and a few firms remains. So the figure above, which is a 7.5, illustrates these four stages over time. So to prevent the decline of their product after the maturity stage, firms will often relaunch their product with a new and improved model. Innovation again plays a role making improvements to the product so that the consumers will purchase the latest model. The figure 7.6 illustrates the product life cycle extension. So the prime example of incremental innovation strategies are Apple, iPhone, and car manufacturers such as Ford and Toyota. So in essence, the new model starts the product life cycle all over again. Profits generated during the product life cycle also usually follow a traditional pattern. So during the research and development phase of the product, the firm is investing funds into the new product, generating a negative profit. Losses continue during the introduction phase. When sales are low and marketing expenses are high, firms tend to recoup their investment in R&D marketing during the growth phase. So, once competition hits up in the maturity phase, price competition kicks in and lower prices means lower profits. Figure 7.6 illustrates this concept. Breaking down the market into the customer segments, innovators and early adopters make up about 50% of the market. Firms must determine a business strategy for each segment of the market. So if they cannot convince the early majority to buy their product, the product fails. Google Glass is an example of a product that did not cross the JSM. Eyeglasses connected to the internet were quite an innovative product. projecting internet sites in front of the eyes or allowing the wearer to take pictures. It's true that it's useful, however, was questionable, and aside from early adopters, it failed. Franklin Roosevelt once quoted, "Competition has been shown to be useful up to a certain point and no further but cooperation, which is the thing we must strive for today, begins where competition leaves off." So the table shows the making cooperative move, which are joint ventures, strategy alliances, and merger and acquisition. In addition to competitive move, firms can benefit from cooperating with one another. So cooperative moves such as forming joint ventures and strategic alliance may allow firms to enjoy success that might not otherwise be reached. So this is because cooperation enables two firms to share rather than duplicate resources and to learn from others' strengths. So firms that enter cooperative relationship takes on risk. However, including the loss of control over operations, possible transfer of valuable secrets to other firms, and possible being taken advantage of by partners. Sometimes two firms create a joint venture to deal with a shared opportunity. So a joint venture was created between Merck and Sun Pharmaceutical Industries, an Indian pharmaceutical company. So the purpose of the joint venture was to create and sell generic drugs in developing countries. So in a press release, a top executive and Sun stressed that each side has important strengths to contribute. So, this joint venture reinforced a strategy of partnering to launch product using our highly innovative delivery technologies around the world. Merck has an unrivaled reputation as a world-leading, innovative, research-driven pharmaceutical company. So both firms contributed executives to the new organization, reflecting the shared decision-making and control involved in joint ventures. Strategic alliances. So the pharmaceutical industry is the location of many strategic alliances. In another example, Merck and Paraxel International Corporation engaged in a strategic alliances. Within this alliance, the two companies collaborate on biotechnology efforts known as biosimilars. So this alliance could be quite important to Merck because the global market of biosimilars has been predicted to rise significantly. Mergers and acquisitions are not without risk. However, according to a Harvard Business Review report, the failure rate of mergers and acquisitions is between 7 to 90%. Often, the enthusiasm of the perceived benefits of the merger overshadow the challenges of adapting two organizational captures into one. So the total cost of the venture and dealing with different technical system. Also, an acquisition is a quick way to increase firms' revenues. A metric that may incentives a CEO to acquire another firm without adequate due diligence, creating an agency problem, which is discussed in Chapter 11 on ethics. Another method to expand a firm is through internal development. If a firm wants to add a new product or service line, rather than acquire that expertise by buying a company, the firm can develop that capability themselves. Although this is more a competitive rather than a cooperative move, this is where a firm's strength of entrepreneurial orientation comes into play. And when entrepreneurship is important, instead of acquiring Fitbit, Google could have developed this wearable technology internally by hiring those with the expertise and paying for the research and development for the product development of to enter this market. Responding to innovation in the market. In contrast, fast responses tend to prevent such an edge. Pepsi's announcement of a mid-calorie cola introduction was quickly followed by a similar announcement by Coke, signaling that Coke would not allow the niche to be dominated by its longtime rival. Thus, a former General Electric CEO, Jack Welch, noted in his autobiography, success in most competitive rivalry is less a function of grandiose predictions than it is a result of being able to respond rapidly to real changes as they occur. That's why strategy has to be dynamic and anticipatory. If rivals are able to establish mutual forbearance, then multiple point competition can help them be successful. Mutual forbearance occurs when rivals do not act aggressively because each recognizes that the other can retaliate in multiple markets. Recognizing and acting on potential forbearance can lead to better performance through firms not competing away their profits, while failure to do so can be costly. Responding to a disruptive innovation. When a rival introduces a disruptive innovation that conflicts with the industry current competitive practices, such as the emergence of online stock trading, executives choose from among three main responses. First, executives may believe that the innovation will not replace established offerings entirely and thus may choose to focus in their traditional modes of business while ignoring the disruption. So, for example, many traditional bookstores such as Barnes and Noble did not consider book sales on Amazon to be the competitive threat until Amazon began to take market share from them. Fighting brands. A firm's success can be undermined when a competitor tries to lure away its customer by charging lower prices for its goods or services. Such a scenario is especially scary if the quality of the competitor's offering is reasonably comparable to the firm's. One possible response would be for the firm to lower its prices to prevent customers from abandoning it. So this can be effective in the short term, but it creates a long-term problem. Specifically, the firm will have trouble increasing in prices back to their original level in the future because charging lower prices for time will devalue the firm's brand and make customers question why they should accept prices increase. Co-location occurs when goods and services offered under different brands are located close to one another. In many cities, for example, theaters and art galleries are clustered together in one neighborhood. Auto malls that contain several different car dealerships are found in many areas. Restaurants and hotels are often located near one another. By providing customers with a variety of choices, a set of co-located firms can attract a bigger set of customers collectively than the sum that could be attracted to individual locations. If a desired play is sold out, a restaurant overcrowded, or hotel overbooked, many customers simply patronize another firm in the area. Although competition and cooperation are usually viewed as separate processes, the concept of co-optation highlights a complex interaction that is becoming increasingly popular in many industries. Raynor, the founder of software firm Novell, coined the term to refer to a blending of competition and cooperation between two firms. For example, drug manufacturers Merck and Roche are rivals in some markets, but the firms are working together to develop tests to detect cancer and to promote the hepatitis treatment. Conclusion. This chapter explains how innovation impacts strategy development. An entrepreneur orientation helps at the firm develop and implement new innovations. Being the first mover can present advantages, but it's not without the risk of competitors learning from the first mover and eventually beating them. Executive may also choose a more conservative route by establishing a foothold within the area that can serve as a launching point or by avoiding existing competitors overall by using a blue ocean strategy. There are four types of innovation, which is incremental, disruptive, architectural, and radical. New products typically follow a predictable product life cycle with four stages that includes introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Firms often use incremental innovation to relaunch product with improved features, starting the product life cycle over again. New products and services must cross the across the GSM to get them into the mainstream. Firms may cooperate with competitors through joint ventures, strategic alliances, mergers and acquisitions, or through co-location or co-opetitions. Executive may also react to competitive attacks by using fighting brands. All of these efforts by firms are part of the strategic management processes that executives must respond to if they want their companies to be successful. That's probably all. Thank you.
Chapter A, Selecting Corporate Level Strategies. Introduction. The preceding chapters focus on generic business level, also referred to as generic competitive strategy, how firms compete head-to-head on products and services they offer. The intent is to develop strategies that provide a competitive advantage so that buyers will purchase what business has to offer, instead of purchasing from a competitor. However, there are three types of strategy, which is the business level, corporate level, and international strategy. In this chapter, the focus is on corporate level strategy. The corporate level strategy is a paradigm shift from business level strategy. It asks what business should be the firm in, and how can being in those businesses create synergy and improve performance. Diversification is the key in corporate strategy. There are several ways that a corporate diversification strategy can be implemented that will be examined here. The third and final type of strategy following business level and corporate level strategies is international strategy, which will be discussed in the next chapter. Prayer. O God, enlighten my mind with truth, inflame my heart with love, inspire my will with courage, enrich my life with service, pardon what I have been, sanctify what I am, order I shall be, and shine shall be the glory, and mine be eternal salvation, through Jesus Christ my Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Specific learning outcomes. At the end of this lesson, the students should be able to discuss what is corporate level strategy and the different ways of implementing it, analyze how the different diversification strategies lessen the risk in a company, and create a BCG matrix.
Chapter 8.2 Corporate Level Strategy. What's the big picture at Disney? Although Walt Disney was a visionary, even he would have struggled to imagine such enormous numbers when his company was created. His company developed a television series for the American Broadcasting Company or ABC in 1954 and opened the Disneyland theme park in 1955. Shortly before its opening, the theme park was featured on the television show to expose the American public to Walt's innovative ideas. Two other important acquisitions were made during the following decade. In corporate level strategy, executives seek to answer two basic questions and then three more detailed questions. With respect to the first question A above, what businesses should we be in? Number 1. In what stage of industry value chain should we participate? 2. What range of products and services should we offer? 3. Where geographically should we compete? All three of these questions should be answered within the context of question B. How can synergy be achieved? For example, if a larger company acquires a similar smaller company, some of the administrative overhead expenses such as accounting or human resource can be combined and operate more efficiently. Warren Buffett's company, a firm, may expand into business areas within its value chain by acquiring supplies upstream in supply chain or distributors or retails downstream. For example, when Disney launched its streaming service Disney Plus, it diversified downstream in its value chain to control and provide an outlet for the movie content it produced. Diversification. There are a variety of reasons a company may consider diversification. Diversification strategies can help mitigate the risk of a company operating in only one industry. If an industry experiences issue or slowdown, Being in other industries can help soften the impact. There are three types of diversification. Number one, related diversification, diversifying into business lines in the same industry. Two, unrelated diversification, diversifying into new industries such as Amazon entering the grocery store business with its purchase of Whole Foods. Number three, geographic diversification, operating in various geographic markets, which is the corporate strategy of Starbucks, Target, and KFC. Three tests of diversification. Number one, how attractive is the industry that a firm is considering entering? Porter's five forces analysis can help with this assessment. Number two, how much will it cost to enter that industry? When Philip Morris bought 7 Up, it paid 4 times what 7 Up was actually worth. Number three, will the new unit and the firm be better off? For example, neither side benefited significantly from joining together. Related diversification occurs when a firm moves into a new industry that has important similarities with the firm's existing industry or industries. Unrelated diversification. By building a portfolio of stocks, an investor can minimize the chances of suffering a huge loss. Some executives take a similar approach. Geographic diversification. Synergy is developed in several ways. Many of the administrative functions such as logistics, procurement, human resources, and legal can be consolidated at the corporate level so they do not need to be duplicated at each location. Horizontal integration, mergers and acquisitions. The term merger is generally used when two similarly sized firms are integrated into a single entity. In an acquisition, a larger firm purchases and absorbs a smaller firm. Examples of each are illustrated in the table. Vertical integration strategies. This approach can be very attractive when a firm's suppliers or buyers have too much power over the firm and are becoming increasingly profitable at the firm's expense. Backward vertical integration. Some firms use this strategy when executives are concerned that a supplier has too much power over their firms. Forward vertical integration. Disney has purchased forward vertical integration by operating more than 300 retail stores that sells merchandise based on Disney's characters and movies. This allows Disney to capture profit that would otherwise be enjoyed by other stores.
Good day, everyone. I am Glidel Miot, and I will be discussing the 8.4 and 8.5 of Chapter 8, which is implementing corporate strategy and strategies for getting smaller. In the end of this topic, we're all going to know various ways that a firm can implement their corporate diversification strategy and to understand what is retrenchment or more extensive restructuring techniques. Once a firm decides which corporate strategy to pursue, it must implement that strategy successfully. There are various ways that a firm can implement their corporate diversification strategy. These are: first, internal development. When deciding what business to be in, sometimes an organization chooses internal development. Internal development means the company develops and launches the new business themselves. Just like Apple brand, it's moved from the computer industry to the music industry and then into the smartphone industry by developing internal capabilities and resources. This is very costly and time-intensive strategy, but can be extremely lucrative and create many competitive benefits. Second, strategic alliance. A strategic alliance is a mutually beneficial relationship between two organizations. A firm might implement their corporate strategy by working with another firm, even if that firm is a competitor. The firm may agree to share expertise or knowledge, resources, supply chain activities, research and development, and etc. Often money changes hands as one company provides what the other company needs. The same as the T-Mobile and Nokia entered into a strategic alliance in 2018, where for a fee, Nokia helped T-Mobile develop its 5G network. Another example, the Barnes and Noble and Starbucks have a strategic alliance whereby Starbucks puts their coffee shops inside of the Barnes and Noble bookstores. In all this example, an alliance was beneficial for both companies. Third, joint venture. Two or more companies form a joint venture when they birth a third company. Ownership arrangement can vary as to how much each partner owns and how much control each partner has. Joint ventures can work well even among competitors when each partner brings something of value to the venture. Like US airplane manufacturer Boeing created a joint venture with a Brazilian aircraft manufacturer of smaller commercial jets. Embraer to start a third company that will get Boeing into the smaller passenger planes market. Boeing owns 80% of the company and Embraer 20%. Lastly, mergers and accusation. Mergers and accusation may occur between company which reduces the competition in the market. Firms might acquire other companies in their value chain to give them more control within the industry. Unrelated diversification occurs when one company purchases another company that is located in an industry the first company is not involved in. T-Mobile's merger with Sprint is an example. 8.5 Strategies for getting smaller. In what industry or industries should a firm compete? In the central question addressed by the corporate level strategy. In some cases, the answer that executives arrive at involves existing one or more industry. Firms following a retrenchment strategy shrink one or more of their business units. Retrenchment is also commonly referred to as a downsizing or right-sizing. For example, South Africa grocery store Pick n Pay announced plans to release more than 3,000 of its estimated 36,000 workers. CEO said the decision was not taken lightly but was required to ensure the viability of the retail business. Without becoming smaller and more cost-effective, firms that use retrenchment can risk total failure. Many organizations shrunk during the COVID-19 pandemic with hopes of surviving until the economy opened up again. Restructuring. Spin-offs occur when businesses create a new firm from a piece of their operations. Because some diversified firms are too complex for investors to understand, breaking them up can create wealth by resulting in greater stock market valuations, and spinning off a company also reduces management layers, which can lower costs and speed up decision-making. This table describes a variety of firms that were created as spin-offs. Divestments refer to a selling of parts of a firm's operations. In some cases, divestment reverses forward vertical integration strategy, such as when Ford sold Hertz. General Motors turned a parts supplier called Delphi from a GM subsidiary into an independent firm. Divestment can be especially appealing to executives in charge of firms that have engaged in unrelated diversification. Investors often struggle to understand the complexity of diversified firms, and this can result in relatively poor performance by such stocks. Divestment also serves as a means to undo diversification strategies, and General Electric is a good example of this phenomenon. GE made everything from light bulbs to washing machines to jet engines to CAT scanners to large power system and had engaged in operating a financial institution, GE Capital that provides loans to companies, and also Fortune Brands provides another good example. Surprisingly, this company does not own Fortune magazine, but it has been involved in a diverse set of industries. The firm consisted of three businesses: spirits, including Jim Beam and Maker's Mark; household goods, including Masterlock and Moen Faucets; and golf equipment, including Tito's clubs and balls, as well as FootJoy shoes. Executives sometimes need to reduce the size of their firms to maximize the chances of the success. This can involve fairly modest steps such as retrenchment or more profound restructuring strategies. That's all, and thank you.
My name is Stephanie S. Narciso, and I will be reporting about the 8.6, which is the portfolio planning and corporate level strategy. Executives in charge of firms involved in many different businesses must figure out how to manage such portfolios. Portfolio planning is a process that helps assess firms' prospects for success within of its industries, also offers suggestions about what to do within each industry, and provide ideas for how to allocate resources across industries. Portfolio planning first gained widespread attention in the 1970s, and it remains a popular tool among executives today. So for an example, General Electric, or GE, competed in a very wide variety of industries, including financial services, insurance, television, theme parks, electricity generation, light bulbs, robotics, medical equipment, railroad locomotives, and aircraft jet engines. When leading a company such as GE, executive must decide which units to grow, which ones to shrink, and which ones to abandon. Executives in charge of firms involved in many different businesses must figure out how to manage such portfolios. The Boston Consulting Group Matrix. The Boston Consulting Group (BCG) matrix is the best known approach to portfolio planning, which is stated in the table 8.5. Using the metric requires a firm's businesses to be categorized as how high or low along two dimensions: its shares of the market and the growth rate of its industry. The BCG matrix has four quadrants or categories. An XY plot, x-axis, indicates relative market share. Y-axis indicates the market growth rate, which are broken into four quadrants. Each quadrant has a faded icon on the respective names. The first one is cash cows. It is how high market shares units within slow-growing industries are called cash cows. Because their industries have bleak prospects, profit from cash cows should not be invested back into cash cows, but rather diverted to more promising businesses. Next, dogs. Low market share units within slow-growing industries are called dogs, and these units are good candidates for divestment. Stars. Higher market share units within fast-growing industries are called stars. These units have bright prospects and thus are good candidates for growth. Question marks. Finally, low market share units within fast-growing industries are called question marks. Here, executives must decide whether to build these units into stars, hold them, or divest them. Figure 8.12 shows how the BCG matrix is laid out. The various business units that a company has are plotted on the matrix. Once plotted, decisions can be made about the portfolio of businesses that a company operates, such as where more investment would be beneficial and which units may be candidates to divest. The Boston Consulting Group matrix is the best known approach to portfolio planning, assessing a firm's prospect for success within the industries in which it competes. The matrix categorizes businesses as high or low along two dimensions: the firm's market share in each industry and the growth rate of each industry. Suggestions are then offered about how to approach each industry. Although portfolio planning is a useful tool, this tool has important limitations. First, portfolio planning oversimplifies the reality of competition by focusing on just two dimensions when analyzing a company's operation within an industry. Many dimensions are important to consider when making strategic decisions, not just two. Second, portfolio planning can create motivational problems among employees. For an example, if workers know their firm's executive believes that in the BCG matrix and that their subsidiary is classified as a dog, then they may give up on any hope for the future. Similarly, workers within cash cow units could become dismayed once they realize that the profits that they help create will be diverted to boost other areas of the firm. Third, portfolio planning does not help identify new opportunities. Because this tool only deals with the existing businesses, it cannot reveal what new industries a firm should consider entering. Portfolio planning is a helpful tool, but it has some significant drawbacks. It concentrates with just two dimensions when examining a company's activities within an industry. When making strategic judgment, it's vital to take into account more than simply two dimensions. The tool only works with existing firms that can tell you what new markets a company should look into. Conclusion. This chapter explains corporate-level strategy. Executives grappling with corporate-level strategy must decide in what industry or industries their firms will compete. Many of the possible answers to this question involve diversification, which can be related, unrelated, or geographic. Integration involves expanding into new stages of the value chain. Backward integration occurs when a firm enters a supplier's business, while forward vertical integration occurs when a firm enters a customer's business. Firms implement their corporate diversification strategies through internal development, strategic alliances, joint ventures, mergers, and acquisitions. Sometimes being smart about corporate level strategy requires shrinking the firm through retrenchment or restructuring. Finally, portfolio planning using the BCG matrix can be useful for analyzing firms that participate in a wide variety of industries or business lines. The BCG matrix can be used for portfolio planning, which can be useful for examining companies that operate in a range of markets or business areas. Smart corporate level strategy occasionally necessitates downsizing the company through layoffs or reorganization. Corporate diversification strategies are put into practices by businesses through internal growth, strategic partnership, joint ventures, mergers, and acquisitions, and that would be all for this chapter. Thank you.